What's up, guys? So, I want to talk a bit about the Bristol race. I'm seeing a lot of people on social media, trying to sell people on the idea that what they saw last night was better than it really was. In my opinion, it was just another shit show. I don't know how people can watch 3 hours of a race, of a caution fest, and just want to ignore that and just say, okay, yeah, well, this was exciting, and they're actually telling you, Eric Estep, he did a video, it was one of the best races of the year, possibly the best, right? He wants to see more dirt races on the schedule. He says that drivers will take the dirt racing more seriously if we add more to the schedule, and it'll be even better. We've added more pack races to the schedule with Atlanta. How's that working out? We're getting the same garbage that we've always gotten at Daytona, Talladega. Now you got it also at Atlanta. It hasn't changed anything. It doesn't change the way the drivers approach the race or race. The racers, the drivers themselves have admitted, most of them, that it's a gimmick. They're calling it a gimmick out in the open. But you still have these delusional fans that ignore the ratings and are trying to convince you and insult your intelligence that you sit there for 3 hours watching one caution after the other, and that this is not a shit show. This is actually great. Tony Stewart tells you, hey, if you don't like this, you're not a real race fan. And he said that at the end of stage 2. That was actually exciting. For about 7 to 10 laps before that stage caution came out, you had maybe 4-5 guys fighting for the lead. That was exciting. Then there was another 10, maybe 15 lap run towards the end of the race. That was entertaining. That's it. The rest of the race was a caution-filled mess. There's a graph they're using now, Fox, which I do like. It's a line near the top of the screen, and it's green, right? So you could tell how much green flag racing is going on. You could see it in the 3 stages, and then for every caution there's a yellow slash, so you could see all the yellow slashes, right? That's all you need to see to know that this was a shit show. It was nothing. The line almost was half yellow as much as it was green. There were so many cautions that at a point in the race, NASCAR, and you could tell it was on purpose, they must have issued a directive to the officials not to throw a caution unless they were absolutely it was necessary. They just stopped throwing cautions. Guys were spinning out, doing 360s in the middle of the track, no caution. Now, if it sounds like I wanted cautions, that's not the point. It's not that I wanted more cautions. It's the inconsistency of the officiating. Everything NASCAR does is inconsistent. They just pick and choose on a whim. They were embarrassed, I guess. It was just, they were like, we have to do something. There's too many fucking cautions. They're going to keep coming out. So don't throw the fucking caution. All this talk of safety, forget about that. Just stop throwing cautions. And then we went through a period where there were 4 or 5 different, moments that should have been a caution. People spinning out in the middle of the track, by the way. And one guy actually hit the wall, no caution. He just kept going. And I was amazed. I was like, holy shit. They got so frustrated with the way that this race was going, that they just stopped throwing the fucking caution. They just gave up. They were like, that was a sign of desperation. And I saw it in real time. I couldn't believe it. But, of course, if you thought that was going to remain consistent, you were wrong. Then Kyle Larson spun out into the apron. Nobody around him. They all passed him. Instead of just giving him a couple seconds to see if he could just spin the car around and get going again, immediate flag. And I saw people on social media say, oh, yeah, well, he came to a complete stop. They had to throw the caution. They're just making shit up as they go. Because people have their fanboy hats on. They can't separate themselves from being fans and being, honest viewers. I don't care who's involved, but the inconsistency of this whole mess was bothering me. But it just added to the shit show, because it's like bad enough that it was a wreck fest, or a caution fest, but then it got to the point where even NASCAR just told the officials stop throwing the flag. And that's what happened. You know how I know? Because there's more than one official. If it was like one official on the track, then you could say, well, maybe he just took it upon himself to be more vigilant about when to throw the caution. But you have multiple officials everywhere. So they all got a talking to from NASCAR. Somebody got on the horn and told them, listen, guys, don't throw a caution unless it's absolutely necessary. So if we get people spinning out, just wait and see what happens. Which is better for the flow of the race, right? And I actually like that, but where's the consistency? And then later they started throwing cautions again. Like I said, that Larson spun out, no contact with anybody, and he was on the apron and everybody passed him. There was nobody around him. And they immediately threw a caution. They didn't wait. So then you wonder why people question the integrity of the sport. The inconsistency. This is the worst officiated race I've seen in ages. I can't remember another race where I felt like, wow, this is crazy. So it was a shit show in my opinion. And I give this race a 5 out of 10 being generous. I'm really being generous because, yeah, before the second stage ended, that was fun to watch. And the late stage of the race, there was a stretch where there was some good racing. But you can't take a 3-hour long product and say 15, maybe 20 minutes out of that 3 hours was good and ignore the other 2.5 hours. You can't do that. So it was crap. And then you got people who want more dirt races. The stands were empty. There used to be a time when you couldn't get a ticket at Bristol. And this started before the dirt races. So it's not all the dirt races. It's like NASCAR's product has gone downhill. Look at the mid-2000s and look at where we are now and all the gimmicks. It all lines up. The more NASCAR has added more and more gimmicks, the more people have walked away. So no matter how some of these delusional fans, how much they try to convince you that what you saw last night was good, your eyes tell the story. And the ratings don't lie. The ratings don't lie. And NASCAR looks at the ratings and they don't say, well, they don't put 2 and 2 together and say all of these gimmicks that we're doing is driving people away. It's not working. Let's get back to some tradition. But they're trying to appease short attention span viewers and fans that want to see a restart every 5 minutes, or they get bored. If a run goes green for too long, and God forbid, people start getting lapped. Oh, this is boring. Then you are not a real fan. Because that is traditional racing. It's always been that way. NASCAR's entire history has been that way. This only changed when Brian France started monkeying around with everything. And I still support the playoffs. But they fucked it up. Added too many people. Winning, you're in. They just keep adding gimmicks and they ruined it. It was way better in the beginning. It was just 10 guys. It was based on points. It was prestigious to get in. Stage cautions. It's just one gimmick after another. The drivers have almost all of them have already admitted. I shouldn't say almost all of them, but a lot of them, right? You put a mic in their face and they kind of let you know it's a gimmick. Some of them just blatantly tell you, this is a gimmick. They don't like it. They just know they can't be too critical of the product. But the ratings tell the real story. So don't let all of these lemmings, these low attention span viewers convince you that what you saw last night was better than it really was. If you enjoyed it, it's your opinion, that's fine. You enjoyed it. But you don't override the majority. And the majority, which is the ratings, have spoken. An online poll isn't going to tell you the truth because it's only giving you an idea of the people that actually answer the poll, right? So it's social media and people that are walking away from NASCAR. They don't care. They don't even care to answer a question in a poll. They're not looking to go on social media and tell you, hey, I'm leaving and this is why. And if you want me back, this is, let's get back to real racing and stop with all these gimmicks. They're not telling you that because when people quit something, they just walk away. When you break up and you're just done with somebody, you just leave. You don't want to keep talking to them and explaining to them why you broke up. It's over. When it's over, it's over. And the ratings keep telling us year after year, race after race, you're driving people away. So you can tell me all you want that you enjoyed the race, that it was great to you, but you only represent a very small group of people because the majority of people have left and continue to leave. So ratings are the ultimate measuring stick of what's happening. And this race, keep in mind, was not on cable. It was on Fox. There's people making excuses. Oh, it was Easter Sunday. Well, it was a night race. Most people, their Easter Day activities, church, whatever it is they do, is by 7 o'clock at night, they're home. Everybody's home, and it was on Fox. There's nothing else on TV, so you can't make excuses. And the stands were about 35-40% filled. It's embarrassing. Bristol. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I give it a 5 out of 10, and that was generous. It's really more of a 4 out of 10, but I don't know what else to tell you guys. That's my opinion, and keep pushing these gimmicks and keep watching the ratings fall and keep making excuses. Keep making excuses why people don't want to watch something. Just like the WNBA, they're delusional. They're complaining about men. They're complaining about people not getting paid enough. But they're not drawing fans, and they're subsidized by the NBA. People aren't watching because they're not interested. Your product isn't good enough to get their attention. And NASCAR pushing these gimmicks, chasing low attention span fans with gimmicks is not working. Hasn't been working. How long do you have to continue to push these experiments when watching them fail in front of you and not waking up and saying, let's pull back, get back to some tradition? The stage cautions gotta go. They got rid of them at road courses, get rid of them everywhere. The end of the second stage, that was the best part of the race. So out comes a stage caution. Now, this is such a shit show, this dirt race, that a caution was going to come out anyway at some point. But the point is, that was the best part of the race. You had several people fighting for the lead, sliding around each other. That was the best part. And the end of stage 2, caution. So get rid of these fucking cautions, stage cautions. Get rid of that shit. Get rid of that winning you're in garbage. None of those things have helped the sport. They've made it worse. Ratings tell the story. And all these people that like this dirt race garbage, they're going to make excuses. You can't ignore ratings. Nobody cares. Nobody's watching. Ratings continue to drop year after year. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I look forward to your comments. Later.